something wrong, brother?
Yes.
Sick?
Sick at heart.
Aside from the beard, what seems to be the trouble? Come, speak out.
I have so much to give and nobody will take.
My problem is also one of distribution, only it happens to be the other way around.
The other way around?
Quite.
What do you mean?
I mean, I have so much to take and nobody will give.
Strange.
Strange indeed, but this is even stranger. I'm certain I can help you.
Very kind.
Tut, tut, who helps another helps himself. Now, if I may be allowed, to analyze your case.
Analyze?
Listen, well, you're trying to give people something, right?
Right?
And people won't take it.
Right.
Why not?
Why not indeed? I wish I knew.
Because, my poor misguided friend, they can't.
Can't?
Cannot.
But surely nothing could be simpler than taking something which is freely offered.
You're speaking of a true or an actual world. Imagine, if you can, a world so blurred that its inhabitants are one another, an idiotic monster of negation, so timid it would rather starve itself eternally than run the risk of choking, so greedy nothing satisfies its hunger but always hunger, huger quantities of nothing, a world so lazy that it cannot dream, so blind it worships its own ugliness, a world so false, so trivial, so and so. Phantoms are solid by comparison, but no, you can't imagine such a world.
Any more than such a world could imagine me.
Very good. Now, as to this ungivable something you're trying to give, this gift which nobody can take, what just exactly is it?
I don't know.
I do.
Do you?
Yes, it is. Understanding.
Understanding?
Yes.
Tell me now, how do you know?
You told me when you answered, I don't know. And when you said you had something to give, you told me, for isn't understanding the only gift? Well, there's precisely your predicament. We're not living in an age of gifts. This is an age of salesmanship, my friend, and you are heavy with the only thing which simply cannot be sold.
May I ask a question?
Go right ahead.
What's the easiest thing to sell?
Knowledge.
Knowledge without understanding?
Correct.
No.
Absolutely.
But that's absurd.
Absurd, and also tragic, yet a fact. In this empty, understanding world, anyone can sell knowledge. Everybody wants knowledge, and there's no price people won't pay to get it. Become a scientist, and your fortune's made.
Scientist?
Or in plain English, a knowledge salesman.
I have no knowledge, only understanding.
Forget your understanding for a while. And as for knowledge, why, don't let that worry you. Once people hear the magic name of science, you can sell anything except understanding.
Yes?
Anything at all.
You mean provided...
Provided nothing.
You don't mean to tell me I could sell people something which didn't exist?
Why not? You don't suppose people exist, do you?
Don't people exist?
People? I'll say they don't. I wish to heaven they did exist. In that case, I shouldn't be the skeleton I am. No. In this science game, this knowledge racket, infinity's your limit. But remember, the less something exists, the more people want it.
I can't seem to think of anything which doesn't exist. Perhaps you could help me.
How about a wheel mine?
A wheel mine?
Surely. A wheel mine doesn't exist, and never will, and never has existed.
A wheel mine? But that's perfectly fantastic.
Why say fantastic when you mean scientific? Well, I'll be strolling so long, Mr. Scientist.
Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. I am a scientist, and just to prove it, ladies and gentlemen, I'll tell you anything you want to know. Go ahead, ask me something. Anything. Mister?
Yes?
How can I make $1 million? $1 million? Is that all you want? Well, I could use a couple if you've got 'em. Could you use 10 or 12? $10 or $12 million? $10 or $12 million? Oh boy!
You're kidding.
Kidding? Why, you can't tell me anything I wouldn't do for 10 or 12 million.
I'll bet you I can.
Oh, how much you want to bet?
I'll bet $1.
You're on. What wouldn't I do?
You wouldn't spend 500 measly dollars for a share of preferred stock in Gilleted wheel mine.
Meal wine?
Wheel mine. Well, don't tell me you've never heard of a wheel mine.
Wheel mine? Well, maybe.
Well, maybe you don't even know what wheels are.
Wheels?
They're the things that make the world go round.
Sure, I know wheels. Why, wheels are everywhere.
I'll say they are, including people's heads. Now, can you tell me what a mine is?
A mine? Well, a mine is a hole in the ground.
Now, can you tell me what 1 and 1 make?
1 and 1?
Yes.
2.
You're wonderful. With a brain like that, you ought to be president of the United States. Now listen carefully. 1 and 1 make 2. But what do wheel and mine make?
They make wheel mine? Congratulations, you know everything. But people don't dig wheels out of the ground.
I'll say people don't.
Well, who does?
Can you guess?
Science?
By Jove, you're just another Einstein. I certainly was a fool to bet with you. Here's your certificate of preferred stock.
Here's your $500.
500. Listen, you may have been dealing with con men all your life, but I'm a scientist. Here's the $1 you won.
Thanks, mister.
You're quite welcome. Anybody else?
Me too. Gimme.
Just a moment, friends. It never shall be said that science favored or slighted anyone. Remember, science is no mere individual. Individuals are, after all, nothing but human beings, and human beings are corruptible. For, as you doubtless know, to err is human. Think, only think, for untold centuries this earth was overrun by human beings. Think, it was not so many years ago that individuals could be found among us. Oh, those dark ages! What a darkness, friends! But now that hideous darkness turns to light. The flame of science blazes far and wide, science impartial and omnipotent, before whose superhuman radiance all dark, pre-scientific instincts vanish. Think, only think, at last the monster man is freed from his obscene humanity, while men were merely men and nothing more. What was equality? A word, a dream. Men never could be equal. Why? Because equality is the attribute of supermen like you and you and you and you, and therefore, super ladies and super gentlemen, when the impartial ear of science hears, your superhuman voice is crying, "Gimme!" Science responds in its omnipotence, "Let there be enough wheel mine stock for all."
Atta baby, long live science! Hooray for wheel mines!
I've got him now. Hello there, what's your hurry?
Help, quick, for mercy's sake, they're after me.
After you?
After me, yes, they're coming.
Who's coming?
Everybody.
Why?
It's the accident.
Accident?
To the miners in the mine.
Miners?
Wheel miners!
Are you crazy?
I don't know. Will you tell me something?
Tell you what.
Does a wheel mine exist or doesn't it?
A wheel mine?
Yes.
Don't be ridiculous.
You mean it doesn't exist?
Exist? Of course not.
In other words, a wheel mine is non-existent, isn't it?
Perfectly.
Oh, then tell me, how can it maim? How can it mutilate? How can it turn mere people into monsters? Answer me, how?
My friend, you've forgotten something. Namely that people like wheel mines don't exist. Two negatives, you know? Make an affirmative. Now, if I may be allowed to analyze...
Do you want to die?
I? Die? Ha 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 ha. How could death die?
Death?
Didn't you know?
I'm going mad. You, tell me whatever you are, death or the devil. Tell me, how can I prove I'm not to blame for the damage caused by an accident which never happened to people who are non-existent?
You can't.
My God, but what am I going to do then?
Do? Why, my dear fellow, it looks to me as if you have to prove you don't exist yourself.
But that's